Right, a beautiful morning. You're welcome to Women's Corner. My name is Rose Blossom. Excited to be here again as usual. Program rocks from 11 a.m. to 12 noon every Monday through Friday. And of course, to watch this program live, you can go to our YouTube and our Facebook channel at Galaxy TV News, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And we have other YouTube channels actually, which you can like and subscribe, and you can watch Galaxy TV News, Galaxy TV Comedy, and where we have all the comedy skits and of course where you can actually make all your worries go away. We also have Galaxy TV Entertainment and Galaxy TV Vibes, and Galaxy TV Vibes where you have all the red carpet moments of every event across the country. Yes, you're welcome again, and yes, you can download our app from Google Play Store and Apple Play Store to watch this program, all of Galaxy TV programs live right there. My name is Rose Blossom again. You are welcome to the show. Today we have an in-house guest again, and I'm super excited. It's been a while we brought her to the studio. But trust me, she's always ready, always capable. And, I feel like today's going to be a fun conversation because most times when I talk with her is as though I'm talking to, how will I put it? You're talking to your mentor, you're talking to someone who has been there for ages, and you'll be wowed at how much the knowledge she has in just a few times she's had on planet Earth. Of course, she is no other than Florence Carl. Oh, good morning. It's good to have you.
Good morning. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm
Thank
excited
you.
that you actually did come because this topic is quite interesting.
Yes.
Yes, and of course, we all know that we are talking about, if you do not know, for those who are just joining, we are going to be talking about anger management and, of course, nagging issues with women. Of course, women, how you can control your anger and your spouse anger, and of course, how to run away from yourself if you know you nag. So you can also help yourself by stop nagging as a woman. But anyways, before we start talking about what we have for today, I want you to know that Florence Carl Ogu is a self-mastery she's a self-mastery coach. Of course, she is a life and relationship coach. She is all round. And when it comes to empowering women, she has always been there supportive from the time this program started. So yes, we're glad to have you again. Anyways, let's quickly go for a tip. And of course, after that tip, we'll come back to the studio to get cracking with Florence. And of course, let's get to know how we can manage our anger. And of course, when we know we nag, how we can stop it or run away from that. We'll be right back after this tip of active listening. Stay with us and don't go nowhere. All right, welcome back. Yes, you're watching Women's Corner, and yes, that is a tip for active listening. As much as it looks short, or listening to it is quite short, trust me, it is one of the things that you need to learn to actually have this activity. I feel like it's a gift, but trust me, you can actually learn to actively listen to people, even though you do not. And you can notice where our tip is coming first, active listening, because when you nag, trust me, you're not listening. You cannot listen when you're nagging. And when you have anger issues, trust me, you're on top of your voice. So you are not listen. That's far from you. But anyway, as usual, we have an amazing person to discuss that with us. So we'll be talking about anger management first before we talk about the nagging.
Yeah.
Now, first, a lot of people tend to say that no matter how fond you are with your partner or with whoever you are having an argument with, anger does not make you hear the person or see the person. First, you want to know how true that is. And what is the best way to be able to manage your anger when you feel like, trust me, and it's difficult to actually control your anger because at that point you're saying everything and you want to just let the person listen to you. How do you know at that cloud that you need to calm down and you need to listen? You need to probably stop talking or probably walk away. How do you do this?
How do you do this? Self-mastery. Well, before we get there, let's even talk about what usually takes us to that anger. So what is anger really is? I mean, if we don't understand where it is coming from, dealing with it will be really difficult.
Yeah.
So why do we get angry? What exactly do we call anger? It's usually a response. It's an emotional response from maybe an emotional trigger, something that has happened. Maybe when you perceive something that is like a threat, like a frustration, something that doesn't, like something that you don't feel good with. So it's like a defense mechanism. You just want to like stand in and defend yourself. Okay. So anger is a response. It means, so if we say anger is a reaction, there is an initial action. So there is usually something
that triggers
that makes, because really, except you except you have a special problem. Nobody just sits down and gets angry,
Obviously.
right?
There's no smoke without a fire.
No smoke without a fire. We were just talking about it this morning. No smoke without a fire. So if we talk about the context of marriage,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an institution where there are two different people coming together. Your likes and your dislikes, we are just getting to know about it. Sometimes we'll step on each other's toes, not because we are blind, but because at that point, our emotional intelligence is just speaking up and getting to understand you. So the process of stepping on each other's toes, and then you just feel, oh, why did you step on my toes? That's the response. Okay. So we have different reasons why people get angry. Sometimes also, even if you talk about the response or maybe trying to defend yourself, you can trace it to where you are coming from. I mean, you grow up literally fighting for everything. So when you sense something that looks like what you dealt with growing up as a you child, want to put up a front. So that's why people just, yeah. So usually, one of the simplest way to deal with that is to recognize that you are human and you are prone to it. Yeah. So you just know that I can actually get angry.
Right.
Okay.
But how you manage
it matters. Anybody will get angry. In fact, sometimes you get angry with yourself, usually because you feel that what you are doing vis-a-vis what you are supposed to be doing. And so sometimes you just say, oh, I'm so angry with where I am or what I've achieved.
Okay, now let me even pick it from that angle now. Let's assume I'm angry myself, like, oh, I should have done this yesterday. Why didn't I do this? And you're so angry with yourself. And sometimes if you're not careful, I feel like you will pass the aggression to the new day that just started. And probably anybody who's coming up to you, you could just give them a little aggression and leave. How do you maintain this anger so you don't pass aggression to other people?
So is it the one? Okay, so now we're taking it, we're talking about the other one. How do you manage your anger so you don't? Now, number one, you need to understand that anger takes a lot from you. That helps you. So when you know that anytime you allow yourself to consistently and you have prolonged anger, just know that you're risking terminal diseases, you're risking a lot of things. So that's understanding. Yes, of course, this is an offset of your hormones and everything. Everything is standing and ready to react. And it affects all aspects of your body. So when you know that, yes, I mean, this can actually affect me. And then the second thing is you are given a wrong representation of who you are.
Okay.
Now, this is you transferring your anger because that's what also happens in marriage. Usually when we even get angry with our kids, if you look at it, it's because of what we have been through. So you are transferring it. So you are giving a wrong representation. You hear people say, oh, mommy is coming again. Mommy is coming again. So you see children literally being afraid of their parents not being respectful of their mom, since we're talking about women.
Yes.
Okay, so is that what you really want to do? Okay, so you give people wrong representation about yourself. So when you understand that, it helps you. Then more importantly, find out what triggers it. What usually gets you angry? Is it when you feel like you are underachieved? Is it when you feel like people are not allowing you to talk? If you take a good look, I mean, just sit down, take a deep breath and get to the root of why you are angry. I guess that will help you. More importantly, also, we can talk about it. I mean, I tell people, anger is such a big deal. So you have people going to therapy for anger.
Of course, yes.
Because it can lead to so many other things. I mean, this is where we talk about being angry and then you can hit things, you can hit someone, you can destroy properties, you can destroy human beings. Yeah. So you get to a point, especially when it has become a chronic one. You can't do all of these things. We have the mouth therapy where you take a deep breath, breathe in before you respond. I do that to my clients sometimes. Because just before, if you know you have anger issues, just before you respond. So all of this has to be intentional. It's unintentional. No one just happens like that. You have to do something. So you have to want to stop it. So that's why you can do the breath therapy. Okay, just take a deep breath. Count 1 to 10. By the time you're doing all of that, it would have subsided.
Yeah, I heard that part where they say count 1 to 10 and count 10 backwards. Now, that's my dad actually. My dad would say, see, counting 1 to 10 is quite easy, but counting 10 to 1 is a bit difficult.
It's a bit difficult.
Trust me, by the time you're counting 10 to 1,
I like that.
You already
I like that. So that's good. So when you do all of that, I'm sure it helps you. So if you think all of these techniques and all of these things I've talked about is not helping, you just find yourself helplessly getting angry, then there may be certain childhood trauma or it may be teenagehood trauma, it may even be young adulthood trauma, or it may be some marriage things that you've been through that got stored somewhere that, whenever there is a trigger, it just reaches out to where you have stored it. Because usually just, the way we have tank, people store emotion. People store things that has happened. And so just a little thing happened and then there's a trigger, it goes to where you have stored it, you just bring it. So if you think that's your case, that's where we advise and encourage that talk to a professional. Maybe that will help. If you've tried all this math thing, what will people think about me before I count 1 to 10 and count backward like I've done? I mean, that's so beautiful. You've done all of that. You've thought about what you do, the damage it does. Because when we get angry, we lose ourselves. We say things that we sometimes even regret. You understand? So you think, get to the end of your action before you begin it. So if you can do all of that and you think it's still not helping, then probably you need a professional.
Okay, let's talk about our species now. Let's be specific. That's the women. Now,
our gender.
Our gender. Oh, amazing gender. Most times when we are angry, I do not know why we tend to be the one on the very loud part. We say things repeatedly, and sometimes people say it's because we feel like women have been silenced over the years. So especially when you talk about the millennial people, the day you see a woman blow up, trust me, that day you might not be able to control her, except she has control over her anger. Now, my question is, as someone who, feel like every time, you are the, how do they call it? Okay, you are the keeper of the home. You're the one that will make the home peaceful. And in her head, she's like, I want to, she just feels like I need to pour some things out. And she doesn't have the avenue to pour because she has to be calm. She has to be quiet and all of that. And trust me, I feel like it's very dangerous because the day she's going to explode, I don't even know what's going to happen. So now, at this point, what would you tell a woman to do? Someone who has been storing up a lot and she feels she wants to express herself and she feels like, okay, if I express myself, maybe at the wrong time, it will spoil a lot of things and destroy a lot of things. So what should she do to be able to manage that?
Awesome. Sweethearts, you have to keep expressing yourself. Now, I mean, you said some things that are very important. And coincidentally, I still talked about those things this morning. So I wake up, say 6 a.m. I set my alarm for 6 a.m. 6 a.m. I'm up. I have 3 biological kids. And then I have to prepare the 3 of them for school. My husband is also there to help and all of that. So you're telling them, oh, wake up, Davina, wake up, wake up. And they're still dragging, they're still sleeping. And then I am really upset because I have made a lot of sacrifices. Most times I'm usually the last to also go to bed. So it's an accumulation of so many things. Now, actually, it has happened to me before where I got so many things stored up. At some point, my husband was not in town, so I was the one taking the kids and all of that. And then one of those days he calls and I'm like, I'm so tired. and in all honesty, what he was talking about was not big enough for me to flare up like that. But because I've been, so what I do is I take daily accountability. I take daily accounts of what is happening, of how I feel. Some people call it journaling, but I am saying that, okay, because I am relating with someone, I won't just journal, I will talk. Because journaling is you writing out your thoughts, but it's important for you to voice out your thoughts. Sometimes when we write down our thoughts and what we're experiencing and what we are going through, it's just between we and our journal. But you need the other person to know, so the person is more empathetic. The person knows where you're coming from. So that woman should keep talking, because when it will finally explode, it will just be a small thing.
Very little.
And then the society will blame you.
Of course.
Because what they see is that thing that has happened, not knowing that you have a lot of carrying over. So I would suggest that this person talks with their significant other or the partner or the children. I mean, I call my children for meeting. I say, we have to talk. We have to talk. I say, mommy is just mommy. Yes, she's
just a human.
She's a human.
I don't have superpowers.
Oh, man. So I tell them, I say, when you do this thing, it gets me angry. So can we stop it? I think this idea of women are powerful, so we keep quiet, we take a lot of things.
It kills gradually.
So you get, so I communicate, I look at them, I said, you know what? I really don't know how to do this. If you spoil it, I won't be able to fix it. Because if it finally gets spoiled, I will be upset. So I'm telling you ahead. So women should learn to talk. Don't think that, oh, you want to communicate this. I will tell my husband, if you don't do this, this will happen in case I get angry. So let's all watch it. So let's take daily account of our emotions, because anger is usually stored up. You're keeping quiet. You're keeping quiet. You're keeping quiet. And the next time you just press the accelerator and then you just hit. So I will recommend to such women to please learn to talk. Because at that point, when it is not a full-blown anger, you can talk constructively. You can talk calmly.
Yeah.
Just
It's still
register
better.
your displeasure. That's the word.
That's it. And that time is when it's still early and not when it's stored up.
When it's a full-blown anger.
Okay, so let me ask this now. On the part of listening, because we took a tip like that.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like it's very difficult for you to listen when you're angry. Is there any possibility to actually listen? Like you said, not the stored up part. Now you're angry. Is there a possibility of listening? Because I feel like when people are angry, they find it difficult to listen. They just, I feel like this is what they do. They just keep quiet. It's like, okay, all right. They are hearing you, but they are not listening to you. They're just waiting for you to be done and they want to voice out what's in them. Well, how can one actively listen even while being angry? Is there a math series? Is there a magic? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Really, dear God, is there a math today? You know, I think it all boils down to emotional intelligence.
Okay.
So we should know if we are ready for a conversation. I think that's one of the ways we'll start. It's one of the ways. If you're not ready, it's okay. It's okay. If you're ready, then be ready. I mean, so that self be true. No, if you are not ready. Because, I mean, there is really no way we can put principles and tools together. At the end of the day, you may not still achieve, you may still listen to react and to respond. So just, if you're still not happy about a situation, it is okay to postpone a conversation.
Right.
Then postpone it. That's a mature thing to do. And then when you're ready, you just listen. The best thing you can do is to listen. So you have postponed to a later date. And then you are here. Listen to understand. To know where the person is coming from. Oftentimes, when we listen, we realize that we made hasty conclusions.
Right.
Yeah. So the best way is to say, just know yourself. Do you think that if you allow this person to talk now, you will really listen, or you will just wait to attack?
To finish.
That's it. So that's one, because there are no fixed ways, because we are human.
Yeah.
I mean, these emotions just keeps rising.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that just know. So sometimes you see couples, sometimes when they come for therapy, and like, she's been quiet. Did she say she's not ready for a conversation? Well, she said so, but I said, I think it's okay. If you want results, let her be ready. And to that woman, so I would say, please be ready on time. Be ready on time. Do you get it? So, I mean, that's one of the fastest recommendations I can give, or recommendation I can give in this type of setting, because usually when they come for therapy, you get to know all the things that can be applied. But basic things, I would say, just be ready. Because the human nature actually listens or hears to attack. And that's because the heat is on and everything. So just, it's okay to postpone. Give yourself 5 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes. Give yourself 30 minutes. And it's okay to give yourself 1 hour. That's okay. Can I get back to you?
Is a day too much?
A day is not even too much, but the sun should not set on it.
All right. I love that part.
Yeah.
That's my to-go right. So like every time I'm like, okay, you cannot go to bed with this. And you can wake up the next morning with this. So you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that part. Okay, let me ask this. When you're angry, is there a possibility of talking about it, even though you feel like you're not really ready? Maybe you're somewhat kind of, maybe the kind of emotional people who they feel like, I'm so emotional that I can't wait that long to talk about it. Even though I'm ready, I'm not ready. I just need to talk about this so I can get better, so I can focus on other things. Now, how do you think somebody like that can have a deep conversation that hurts? Because I don't know. I've seen a lot of emotional people that tell you, I'm so emotional that when something goes wrong with me, I won't be able to focus on other things. I just need to let it out.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, if you let it out at the heat of the moment, you could spoil things. You might not listen. You might be so defensive or attacking. So how do you think people like that can go about things when they are angry?
Okay. First thing I would want to talk about is, it is possible. You can just distract yourself. You can distract yourself. Get yourself beautiful distractions. Okay. So just go ahead. Think of that thing that you've not done before. Again, you are doing all of this is because you understand the consequence of what is happening. Yeah. You know yourself. You just said it. I know that if I attack this thing now, I may not say it well. However, I am boiling. So it's okay. One major thing I still trust God for, and I encourage humans to be able to do, is to be able to manage control. He said control. Self-control is very critical. And then you can also maybe have keys or clues, or just maybe have someone that can always prompt you, or have things that can prompt you. Some people set alarm. Some people actually set alarm. Let this alarm keep ringing and know that, okay, parents, you're not supposed to talk now. Okay, just calm down and take a stroll. So you see, there are some married men who say them, okay, just take a stroll, because you know that if you respond to what she has done, you will respond wrongly. So we tell them, okay, take a stroll, but take a stroll around your environment. So you don't stroll away. Do you understand? So distract yourself, take an organized stroll. Stroll on paper. Don't stroll away. Don't go to, you know, and don't go to a place that you will see things or hear things that we trigger the thing more. You understand? So you can try all of that, or you can try face conversations, or conversations in faces. That's what I call talking in faces.
How does that work?
If you really think, oh, maybe they're taking the stroll thing and all of that, you really want to talk. So talk in faces. The first time you're talking, you express your emotion. Just know that you will come back and talk again. Because when you were talking that time, it was your emotion talking. Your brain needs to talk now. Yeah, so it's okay. Just vent. Vent is okay. Sometimes you can talk to the person that has done it. You can vent to your phone. You can vent to the person that didn't do it. So you will still talk now.
Of course.
That's why therapy sometimes. I mean, you just hear people call and then they are talking. I didn't offend them.
Yeah, but they are talking as though you offended them.
And it helps. So, I've talked about two things now. The first one, control yourself, take a stroll. But if you really think, like you said, there are some people really, if they don't say it, it doesn't come out. So, how or who you say it to also matters. And know that you will come back to say another version. So let the first one be just to pour out your emotion. That one you will say it's so raw. But even at that, I recommend that it's okay to talk to the person that has not offended you. It's okay to talk to the person that you are not having issues with. Just go, Florence, do you know that stupid man calls that? I'm not the one you're calling. And the person is not hearing you calling him stupid. So stupid is to me. He's so stupid, he's so irresponsible. He's not here. Because if you call him that to his face.
Oh no.
Do you understand? And people realize that when you talk, it's a technique actually. And it is working to some people. So you talk, you vent. You realize that when you just talk, they will not take a deep breath.
They feel better a little bit.
And see what is it. So that's the first phase of talking. And the second phase will now be addressing the culprit, the person. So you realize that you are calmer. You are calmer because someone has taken the hits. Yes, a parents will not go back and put their head. Oh, God, help me. I'm taking stupid that I'm not. You understand? I mean, that's what therapists are. That's why you hear people say, so, I mean, there was a friend that was going to start something and she called it vents. I think it's vent. Just come and talk. So people like that can some people vent to their phone. They record it. So they're just talking. Call the person's name, Carl. Hey, my darling husband is watching. It's not you. Look at what you've done to me. You did this. Every time when you say all of that, the truth is when you bring it out, you really calm down. So by that time you're calm, then you have real conversations with Carl. By that time it is constructive.
It's more constructive and better.
Yeah, so
I love this. I love this. Anyways, we're still here with Florence Carl Ogu, of course, and we are talking about anger management. And of course, the next part we're going into is a nagging woman. How to run away from that self. Because trust me, that's not your real self. We can actually deal with that and become better. So let's quickly take our next tip. And of course, our next tip will be, hold on. Yes, our next tip will be to strengthen our intuitions. And sometimes you need your intuitions. And they say most times a woman's intuition are never wrong. So let's quickly go watch this tip and we'll be right back to continue talking. Okay, this time around we're talking about nagging. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. You're still watching Women's Corner. And of course we have Florence Carl Ogu. She's a self-mastery coach. She is so much more. In fact, we've been talking so much, even behind the camera, but trust me, this is interesting. So let's talk about nagging issues with women. Even the Bible had to say that men would rather live on the top of the roof than live in a house with a nagging woman. And I believe not every woman nag. I believe it comes from somewhere. Something must have happened before a woman would nag. Some people say, no, women naturally nag. And I tell them, that's not true.
Generalization.
That's generalization. Some women don't even like to talk about their issues. They don't want to talk about it. Once they talk, they let it go and they move on. So what exactly actually causes women to nag? Let's start with the cause first. Maybe we'll be able to drive to a point of how to resolve it.
So nagging is just, let me just say nagging, what nagging is. I'll just give a literal explanation or definition of nagging. Nagging is just the opposite of silence, of, of silence, if that's the word, of not talking, of keeping quiet, of accepting everything the way they are, of just swallowing everything. That's the direct opposite. That's, so you just mentioned it. Some women don't talk at all. Then some women talk. So if you say, sweetheart, I want you to do something for me, and the husband says, oh, I will do it later, this woman on this other part will never remind you, will never say anything. So the other part of this nagging is to constantly complain. So why do women nag? Women nag sometimes when they don't feel heard.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't feel. Again, I keep saying it. Nobody was born a nagging human being. Nobody was born bad, really. I mean, there are different factors responsible for that. If women even understand the health implication of nagging, they wouldn't nag. Stop it. And some of them do understand it, but they are helpless. So they nag when they don't feel. Again, feel. Emphasis on feel. They don't feel they are being heard. They just feel the best way to communicate displeasure is to consistently, with a certain tone, talk about it. A certain tone that may be, that may not be palatable for your partner.
Quite offensive.
A certain tone. So that's the defense. So it's just because they don't feel, and again, they feel that is the only way the other person will take action. That's another reason women nag. If I say it like this, I mean, because sometimes we do these things, we don't even understand the consequences. Sometimes people have good reasons for doing this. And you realize that nag is even a facade. Like they just put it, when they come back, they'll say, yeah, I did it like that. I mean, I've seen people like that. They say, oh, that's the only way you understand the importance of this or how painful. So they give it to, so I mean, and sometimes it may also be trauma. I mean, I can't stop talking about it as a therapist. I keep saying trauma has a place. It can also be childhood experiences, what they have seen. If you saw your mother achieving results by nagging, and again, it's just when you are consistently in a certain tone talking about something again and again, you know. So their mom nagged their way through all of this, and they just saw that. They don't know the other, the part two of the mom, but they just saw that, oh, okay, after my mom did it like this, daddy went ahead to do it. Or it's worked for her, and then it does. So those are some of the reasons why women nag. And then they just fit the society, you know, like you have to be loud, you have to just let people know how you feel. You understand? So that's why I say nagging is just the opposite. But there's a middle ground. There's how you should be. That's what we're not talking about. That's not what we're talking about, right? There's a way to talk, right? So nagging is extreme. Silence is also an extreme.
So it has to be a middle.
Not talking is bad. Not talking. Because not talking is not the absence of your feelings. It's not the absence of the pain. You have just decided to keep quiet. So when you keep quiet and you don't talk about it, it's going somewhere. It's affecting you. So nagging, you are using it to affect others. Although it affects you a bit, but silence is affecting you directly and only you.
More of you.
Yeah. You understand? Then we have a middle ground that is not the topic for today.
Okay, all right. So let me ask this. You know, the society will always believe, like you said, society will always believe that, you know, when there is an issue in the home and a woman is talking, the man is talking, they'll believe that the woman's voice, I'm telling you, it should be louder. They'll be like, that woman is arguing, she has started again. And sometimes I hear a lot of women, when they're arguing with their husbands, and their husband too is as loud as they are, they'll say, you're not even ashamed. Maybe they know that it's women that will be shouting and will be, making the noise. Imagine people hearing you as a man shout, and you're even probably calling attention of other people. Whereas as a woman, they always feel that in the society, she nags, she's shouting, she's calling attention of the neighbors to come to her help, her aid. But now a man is probably doing that. Now, is that narrative
good
right? Is it good representation?
It is not.
It is
not. It is not, because it is replacing wisdom. I mean, a nagging woman lacks wisdom, definitely. So if you say women nag naturally, I mean, number one, that's an unfair generalization.
Yes.
Because I tell women that the best way to achieve results is to talk so that they can hear you. When you nag, actually, you are not talking, you are shouting. You are complaining. People don't hear that type of complaint. But there's a way you can talk and you make the other person look stupid. So when you say, oh, yeah, in fact, like you say, some of them will go as far as say you are the one shouting or nagging and they are might not the one that is supposed to do it. You are the one that they say you're not supposed to be wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, nothing means anything except the meaning you give to it. So if you give the meaning that, oh, because I'm a woman, that's why I'm shouting, that's is usually your reality. So I think that is wrong, because if we continue with that narrative, you have young ladies growing up thinking that that's the way a woman is. We need to intentionally change the things that maybe culture has influenced on us or has put on us, or maybe society or experiences. It is not a general thing. It's not a principle that should be taught across, that should be, follow through. Then you understand. So you hear this, women. When people say things like that, and I'm smiling and I say, have you met me?
In fact, sometimes I feel like maybe when I'm talking to someone and I'm trying to make emphasis on the real issue, maybe I could be having a conversation with you and I feel like you're not getting exactly what I'm saying. And I keep trying to explain, no, this is what I'm trying to say. And you make a statement, probably fell out of your mouth or you picked it from a tree, I don't care. And you say, please stop nagging. I just pause immediately. I'm like, oh, no. No, don't tell me,
so you see that.
At that point, I'm like, should I nag? So you know the difference between nagging?
So you see that what this has caused is that people have mistaken someone that is registering a displeasure with passion.
Yeah.
For nagging.
True.
People, I'm registering my displeasure with passion.
Yeah.
And you say nagging. I mean, that's it. So you're not listening because something in you has already said I'm nagging.
Yeah.
And
that's why
you know how you relate to nagging women, and that's also because you have met series of nagging women, and now you are not able to differentiate the difference between a woman that is making clearly her points and you are not listening, because you notice when the person is not actually listening to you, and you are trying to say you are nagging.
Well, usually I just say, okay, I'm nagging. Okay, let me show you the real definition of nagging, because trust me, you won't even love it. But anyways, I don't know. I have more questions, but our time is up. There should be a part 2 to this.
In fact, this is interesting.
Because there is a lot to say. A lot. I have a lot of questions, even to help women to get off the nagging page. How you can register your points, without even nagging about it intelligently. There's a whole, please, let's do a part 2. Maybe not now, maybe next 2 weeks, next 3 weeks.
No problem.
Anyways, we've come to the end of the show. I want to say thank you so much, Florence, for being in the studio. Thank you. It was amazing. I said it was going to be interesting and fun. It was more like logistics, but trust me, I was learning a whole lot, and I'm sure a lot of people are learning. I'm sure my viewers too also learned, but I hope you enjoyed the program.
I did. Absolutely.
As always. All right. So thank you, my viewers, for being part of the program. If you have missed this, trust me, you do not. Don't try it. If you want me, I'm going to post it everywhere. We're going to repost it. Just keep posting so that women can learn. And make sure you take this thing off your head and off every man you come across, that every woman does not nag. Some people just know how to make their points intelligently and just help that man to understand that nagging is not the way. So he can listen to you and maybe make corrections where he needs to. I think that's it. Thank you so much. You can go to our Facebook or our YouTube channel at Galaxy TV, where you can watch this program again live. I want to say thank you again to Florence Carl-Ogle in the studio.
My pleasure.
Of course. And well, that's the end of the program. Up next is News on the Hour. Right after that, we'll be having the balls. We'll talk about the state and the affairs of the country. Until then, my name is Rose Blossom. Have a beautiful day. Emmanuel, can you have the both of us on the screen? Let's wave goodbye to our viewers. Goodbye. Thank you so much.